Arcadia Queenie had a peep over the right shoulder, and she's going to blow them away. Galaxy Star draws away from them. Pike Magician.
Welcome to Racing Rewind. Our panel will review the Pine Metropolitan meeting of the week. They will look for the horses to follow, those to forgive, and possibly those to forget. If you have an opinion, send a text to 0427 789 571. 0427 789 571.
Well, welcome along to Racing Rewind. Haven't we got something to talk about from yesterday at Ascot? We welcome along Michael and Lochie to the program. Good morning, lads.
Good morning, Michael, Marty and listeners. What a great day we had at Ascot yesterday. Obviously, Caulfield Cup Day, Golden Eagle Day over East, but here locally, it was a
Derby Day. Cup Day.
Caulfield Cup Day, Derby Day. Sorry,
I'll
boys.
give you the winner if you want.
Wakey. But it was a fantastic day of racing at Ascot and one we cannot wait to review.
I think the Placid Arc prelude yesterday was the prelude to the Placid Arc as well, wasn't it, Lochie?
Yeah, it was.
He pulled that one out yesterday in the coverage. But, geez, some of the performance yesterday were outstanding. It is difficult to pinpoint what the best of them was. Bravo Centurion just looks an absolute bomb over the 1,000 metres. It's going to be so exciting to see him over 1,200 in a Winterbottom. Joker's Grin's probably the most progressive horse we have racing here in WA at the moment. Of course, Super Smink won the Asian Beau, and Woburn Gold just about saved the best till last yesterday. That was a breathtaking win. So there was, I don't think we've seen that sort of meeting at Ascot for a while, where there were probably a handful of outstanding individual performances.
Yeah, well, one of those individual performances was Chris Parnham. He was on fire. He joins us now on Racing Rewind. A very good morning, Chris.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Morning, Chris. Congratulations on a fantastic day in the saddle yesterday. Let's start with Super Smink, her win in the Asian Beau. What did you make of her win, and how strong was she late?
Yeah, she was super. She obviously had a bit of an off campaign through the autumn, but she seems to have bounced back to her best. She got a lovely sort of card into it from Aztec Ruler, and she just let down with the powerful turn of foot that she showed in previous campaigns, so it was good to see her back.
There's always been perhaps a slight query from her at a mile from afar. With that in mind, do you feel that the mile is right up her alley at this stage of her career?
Yeah, well, now that she's a 4-year-old, it probably is. I don't think early days it was probably up her alley, but yeah, I think we've sort of learnt from her as well that she needs to be ridden midfield or worse. She can't be sort of on top of the speed, otherwise she probably just doesn't show that same turn of foot. So heading to a railway in a few weeks' time, I'd imagine she'd be ridden in a similar fashion she has all prep.
Morning, Chris. Well done on a great day at the office. Bravo Centurion, 6 from 6 this prep. He's gone from a maiden to a Group 3. Geez, he's been progressive. What did you make of yesterday's performance?
Yeah, he was super. To be honest, I didn't see that coming, him winning like that. He's always shown ability. He's just, each run, he just seems to go to a new level. So, yeah, look, he's very exciting. He's a very fast horse, and he won't race now till the Winterbottom. I think he'll have a trial in between. So, yeah, it'll be exciting to see him in 4 weeks' time.
He won over 1,200 metres back on the 14th of August, but that was only a Class 1 race. Your gut feel at this level, he looks dynamite over the 5 furlongs, but of course a weight for age 1,200 metre feature is the Winterbottom. What are your sort of thoughts about him getting a strong 6 furlongs in that company?
Oh, it'll be a test for him, no doubt, especially at that level. So he's, it's just going to be a wait and see, I guess. Like, you're going to have a crack at it and see if he can live up to it, really. So, my gut feel is that he'll be there for a long way, and he'll probably look the winner at some stage. So, and hopefully he can do enough to hold on.
Chris, throughout this preparation, we've seen him do all his racing from out in front. Do you feel like he has the ability to take a sit if a horse like Overpass really pressed the issue in a big Group 1 feature like the Winterbottom?
He could probably, but I think his main asset is his speed, so he probably wouldn't want to just give the lead away unless they were going ridiculous. So I know Overpass is quick, but I don't know if he's as quick as Bravo in the first couple of furlongs. So we'll see how that plays out on Winterbottom Day.
Okay, we'll stick with your winners there yesterday. Done with the Blues. No hotter sire in Australia than Dundeel, and this mare returned with a terrific win there yesterday.
I wasn't really expecting that one, to be honest. I hadn't ridden this mare before, but she obviously had shown good form in previous campaigns, but obviously for whatever reason last campaign she didn't come up as well, and but her trial sort of leading into yesterday's run was good, and she got a nice run from the inside barrier, and she just settled really well and showed a good turn of foot late. So no, it was a good surprise to get that one home early in the day.
Wyndon the Lion was an exciting horse resuming yesterday. Started favourite in the Placid Arc Prelude. What did you make of his run, finishing fourth?
His run was good, but I'd be lying if I wasn't saying I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Only disappointed because I expected more from him, but his run was still good. So he did come from a long way back and to finish fourth. I think sort of in a couple of weeks' time, the 1200 will suit him better. But yeah, I was sort of expecting him to toe me into it and flash down the outside and win, but that wasn't the case. But I still think his run was quite good heading into a Placid Arc in 2 weeks.
And just to finish off, the Boss Lady I thought was a cheeky run first up over the 1,000, on track for the Mares series. Yeah,
she went super. She couldn't have gone much better. She'd probably be better suited up to 1,200 metres, so, and even further, to be honest. So I think, the next couple of races that she's got picked out, the Jungle Miss and Jungle Dawn, will be right up her alley.
Melbourne Cup Day on Tuesday, and it's also Burgess Queen Day there at Ascot. Divine Impact, your thoughts?
Yeah, she couldn't have done much more this prep. She's 2 from 2. There's no standout filly in this race to my eye. There's a lot of fillies in there that are going in with good form, but I don't think we've seen any superstars, so I think she goes in there with a live chance.
Okay, Chris, terrific day's riding there yesterday and in what was a brilliant day's racing. Thanks for coming on Racing Rewind today.
No dramas at all. Thanks, guys.
He's a superstar, Chris Parnham. And one question off the text line before we get cracking. To you, Michael, is how's Lucy?
Good. She's back at Ascot next Saturday. She was hoping to be back at Northam on Thursday, but that was actually the 12th day of her 12-day compulsory stand down, so she wasn't allowed to ride that day, but she'll be back next Saturday and hopefully pick up where she left off. Back on Chris, he's winning the Metropolitan Premiership by 8.5 at the moment from Pikey, so it has been a blistering start to the season. He's going at 26.4% in the city.
I don't think I've ever seen Chris ride better, to be honest. He just seems to be booting home so many winners. Yes, he's getting great opportunities, but he's making the most of them. And yeah, for mine, he's the state's best rider at the moment.
Okay, let's get moving on these. We'll speed through the early ones and spend some more time on the bigger races at the back end of the program. Race number 1 was the Tab Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap over the mile.
Last of all is Kenny Jack. 400 left to go. Frappuccino about a neck in front of Amazing Cheat. Piker's pushing, pull the trigger up on the inside to be close handy with Ace Command. A gap to War Matters, and further back is All About the Crack. Then Date with the Devil at the 250. An Amazing Cheat reaches the lead. Pull the trigger, sees a bit of daylight. Comes out after him now. Ace Command, War Matters, Date with the Devil, Kenny Jack. It's Amazing Cheat. Pull the trigger. Here comes War Matters though. It's War Matters on the outside, hitting the lead. War Matters beat Bradley. Kenny Jack coming from last to grab second. Pull the trigger there. Might be third.
All right, tell us about this win. It was Bradley combining with Darren McAuliffe. He had a bit to say after the race. You couldn't keep him quiet. Lochie, you were saying, come on, Darren.
He did.
It was good to hear. And I'm not having a shot here. It was great to hear.
He was up and about, the big fellow, Darren McAuliffe, and he had every reason to be. War Matters was the maiden going into this Tab Touch West Speed Platinum handicap, but just had a lovely run throughout. The horse was able to stay relaxed even when the speed slackened down the back, and just a beautiful ride from Brad Parnham. Was able to extricate off the fence, didn't really break stride coming into the home turn, and from there found the line really, really well. I'm always a knock on these horses, these maidens stepping up to open company with inverted commas, but really nice win, and a horse that looks like he wants a little bit further, and I think can really go through his grades 1,800 metres and beyond.
Yeah, I thought Tony Spirit was the run of this race. Settled rearwards. Actually won the York Cup last year, and the York Cup is next Sunday, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if that was a little bit of a trial ahead of that feature race next Sunday, because it was a cracking run from back in the field, saving ground, hit the line better than anything. Kenny Jack also hit the line well, pull the trigger, started favourite, appeared to enjoy the right type of run, perhaps got held up fleetingly on straightening, and that maybe robbed him of a little bit of momentum, and the momentum horses were the ones that ended up winning. But overall, I thought Tony Spirit was probably the horse to be following out of the race. And Date with the Devil, watched this a couple of times, bitterly disappointing, really. Didn't run on it at all.
I agree. Date with the Devil, maybe he's just come up.
End of run prep for mine.
Yeah, and pull the trigger. I'm just not sure if he ran out the mile. He's won 3 times at 1,400 metres previously. Maybe back trip might be the go for him.
Got to keep the text line going too. We've got plenty to get through. Hi guys, what are your thoughts on Jamie Carr's ride on Amelia's Jewel? Why did she swap hands with the Persuader with 75 metres to go? Looks like she lost a bit of momentum. If she didn't do that, probably would have won the race. Not sure why she did that. That is from Brendan.
I think the horse found again when she swapped.
Yeah.
I don't think she would have won the race, but just the strong horses we were discussing off air, Marty. A tissue 2,000 back to 1,600 metres was just too strong late.
It was a sloppy change of hands for her, but she wouldn't have done it for no other reason, to try and get something out of her, probably on the stride. And she looked like she did kick, but her tissue just was too good in the final stage. As 1,200, as you said, 2,000 back to 1,600. But it was good to see, and she's running as best she can at the moment, Amelia's Jewel. You're not going to take second in a Group 1 any day. You'll take that any day of the week. Race number 2, the Witten's Irrigation and Design Handicap over the 2,200 metres.
And then come a little bit closer. Choice Thinking's gone, seemingly anyway. And then came Page's turn. I Love Your Smile. Gee, they're leaving their runs very, very late. Lord Randolph is last, but Kerman Rock still well clear at the 220. I don't think they're going to get to Kerman Rock. They're not. He's out by 6 lengths. Down the outside, come a little bit closer. I Love Your Smile running on, but it's all Kerman Rock, and Kerman Rock is going to absolutely run them into the ground. I Love Your Smile came late.
Well, there it is. Kerman Rock. He can do this, can't he? And great to see Kate Pateman combining there with Chris. Well, Chris is looking decidedly well too. Wasn't he looking well in the post-race interview?
As you would be after training a winner, Marty. Very, very happy. I know this wasn't performance of the day, but this was story of the day. Kate Pateman, take a bow. Great front-running ride with Kerman Rock. He was in front by a long way at some stages. You'd have to say 5 lengths at around the 800-metre mark. And whether Kate just nailed it, I think she did, or some of the other riders didn't quite get their sectional times right in pursuing Kerman Rock, I'm not sure. But great performance from Kerman Rock. But the clear story, Kate Pateman, take a bow.
Yeah, 100%. I remember when the horse won by over 10 lengths a couple of years ago, ridden in a similar manner where they just let him run and didn't receive any pressure. And as Chris surmised after the race, he's not overly quick, but he is has a lot of stamina. So if you ride him to instructions, then he can be quite effective. And this wasn't a strong race by any means. It was re-handicapped to a 58 plus with a 55 kilo minimum, and was a lot easier than what Kerman Rock had been facing. So always effective off the 7-day spin, this horse, and Chris Willis's horses in particular. So a nice effort all round. Thought I Love Your Smile was a lot better yesterday. Goes a lot better when ridden colder and saved up for a run. And unfortunately, the sort of race shape didn't really suit, but she still finished off nicely. And from there, the rest of them were pretty much well beaten. Come a little bit closer. Stuck on for third. Lorne Randolph didn't really give a yelp. Spotted them a big head start, but didn't find the line anywhere near as well as I Love Your Smile.
Yes, nothing to add for mine. This wasn't a strong race and I'm not really keen to follow it.
Tate from Subiaco on that text line for Retrovision, 0427 789 571. What's going on with the Parnham stable? Neville scratched 3 runners from yesterday's card. Seems a bit strange. Maybe a virus going around the stable. Well, a couple were scratched for better races or future planning, wasn't it?
No, so Snowdome and Zipaway were both scratched on veterinary advice. So
really?
I'm not...
That's what it says in the steward's report, yep.
Yep, so I'm not exactly sure what has occurred.
It's just that there's another option for them coming up, so it shouldn't derail their prep, hopefully, because Zipaway could go to a race like Listia, the Listia next Saturday, and Snowdome, I'm assuming the Colonel Reeves.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But it was a very rare Saturday without a Neville Parnham runner, so we actually weren't able to see Neville or speak to him in regards to what has occurred with Snowdome and Zipper.
Wonder when the last time he had no runners on a Saturday at Ascot was.
Never.
Be like Peter Fernie not having a runner in Cal.
Yeah.
Cal. Race number 3, the Key Clean Handicap over the 1500.
About to come to the outside of Beljourney. Further back, Miss Sky High, Beau, and towards the tail, Rocker Kaha. Amjad led clearly at the 250 from Winning Shuffle. Done with the Blues. Followed further back, Kalima, and down the outside, Miss Sky High. Amjad's in front. Amjad from Done with the Blues. Done with the Blues now goes to Amjad. Hits the lead first up. Done with the Blues. Done with the Blues has done Amjad. Miss Sky High third. Beau fourth. Kalima Storm.
Okay, we spoke earlier on about the win of Done with the Blues for Dan and Ben Pearce and Chris Parnham.
Done with the Blues, great result for the Pearce brothers, one that I didn't expect. The mare previously has got out over a little bit of ground, but there yesterday, first up at 1,500 metres off the back of 2 trials, and I thought it was a great ride from Steve Parnham aboard the second horse, which allowed Chris Parnham in the box seat to just follow his every move, and from there, Done with the Blues, that staying strength, perhaps just kicking in the final 100 metres of the race. Like the win in the sense that I just feel like she's a mare that profiles really nicely. She's still lightly raced. She's won over a trip, so I feel like this is just a bonus. So hopefully she's in for a good campaign for the Pearce brothers.
Yeah, 100%. She does most of her racing over the staying journey, so I think it's quite encouraging to be winning at the bottom end of her distance range. It was also only her second start in the past 10 months. She only had one start during the winter, ran last, beaten 20 lengths and tipped out for a break, comes back and wins first up. So she should be set for a nice campaign now. Outside of that, I agree. I thought Amjad had every possible yesterday. There, outside of the 1,000-metre races and the staying race, it was difficult, I thought, for some of the on-speed horses to stick on with that. Although it wasn't strong, there was a little bit of a headwind, but Stevie rated this horse to perfection, and I thought still had every chance given the steady tempo. Miss Sky High was a really good run, making late ground, and B Bardo, I should say, was a little bit unlucky getting held up in the straight, but found the line fairly. But I think outside of this, Amjad's probably the horse that should be getting closer to a win, and Done with the Blues up in trip. Looks set for a good prep.
Kalima, the talking point out of this race for mine, she was second favourite in the end, but was favourite for most of the week. She's just a fresh mare. I think we've really, really learnt that. She's 3 from 3 first up. She was awfully unlucky first up again.
3 from 4.
3 from 4, obviously, because she was very unlucky first up this time in, and the deeper she gets into her preparation, I thought she had every possible chance there yesterday and just didn't kick or find the line. So hopefully with a small freshen up, we can see the best of her shortly.
Yeah, it'd be frustrating, wouldn't it, knowing that she's got so much ability, but she just seems to really fire fresh, and when she doesn't get the rub of the green, which is probably more likely than unlikely with her racing style, you're really putting all your eggs in one basket, first or second up. So it'd be a difficult horse to be handling, but I do think she's got really good ability, and she's capable of winning some nice races moving forward.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Further back, Grand Reserve, Bellini Miss, trying to work into it with Cobb & Co. Well off the Royal Toronado and Odinaka, and Arcadia Knight on the outside fly with caution. Rockin' Wonder comes back. They're having a battle royale. Now on the outside fly with caution, takes the lead. Further 2 lengths, Decoration. Here comes Royal Toronado. It's starting to steamroll right down the outside. Royal Toronado coming at fly with caution. Royal Toronado reaches the lead. A brilliant win by Royal Toronado. Royal Toronado Toronado cut fly with caution down and Bellini miss in the middle. It'll be close.
I think on any other Ascot day, this would be one of the highlight races circled in review. Terrific win, Royal Toronado. Fly with caution. Horses flying, and our little Bellini miss continues to race well from a good barrier.
I agree, Marty. Royal Toronado, this was a big win on review. He had to loop around the whole field, essentially, and just really found the line well over 1,800 metres from what we've seen of his campaign so far, and the win yesterday. He's just looking for more ground. I know that he was tried over a Mel Vista and Derby preparation as an autumn 3-year-old, and perhaps that just came up a little too soon for him. But if he can show the same turn of foot that he showed in the final 100 or 200 metres over 2,100, 2,200 metres, he's the type of horse that could really string 2, 3, 4 on a line over the staying journeys. Really loved the win there yesterday. And I think there's a few horses in behind him that we can be following as well.
Yeah, 100%. Put the writing on the wall his last couple of runs. Royal Toronado, Pike jumped on yesterday, suited the horse really well, and he finished brilliantly to win. Like the look of Fly with Caution, though. Not an overly big horse, but he can carry weight, and he's clearly got good ability. He had to do it tough yesterday, eventually got to the breeze from an awkward draw, put pressure on the leader, but stuck on really well to run second, and I think that might have been his first time out to 1,800 metres as well. So he handled that with aplomb, and he's going to win plenty of races with that racing style at Ascot. So I'm keen to be following him moving forward. Bellini misses the way I tipped. I thought Brad Parnham gave her every single chance, and she was a really good run into third, but just bumped into a couple that were going a touch better. And back in fifth, Decoration, I thought looked a bit one-paced yesterday, but he's on track to go to the York Cup next Sunday, and I think that'll be a nice race for him. He'll drop weight, probably won't bump into these type of horses, an extra 120 metres, and he can probably settle a bit more prominently in the run. I think that'll be a winnable race for him.
I agree. I'm really keen to follow Fly with Caution, though. I think up in trip, he settles handier than horses like Bellini Miss, Arcadia Knight, even Royal Toronado. So provided that he stays, and he's giving no indication that he won't, I think he's just going to be that on-speed, first four type of stayer that makes his own luck, and from there will be very hard to run down.
Also thought Rockin' Wonder wasn't a bad run. Found the front from barrier 10, as he has done in his last couple, but he won a maiden 2 starts ago, won a Class 1 last start, straight into a 66 yesterday. He was still there at about the 150, and he only really wilted the last 100 metres to be beaten less than 3 lengths in that type of field. Back in grade, he'll be super hard to beat next start.
I agree. Very good run, first time on a Saturday.
Okay, so that was race number 4, the Drum and Golf Handicap. Always good to have Drum and Golf on board as sponsors as well. It was a very important race as well, apart from Royal Toronado winning, is that was the first leg of the old Cobb Pick 6. Now, in case you're not across it, Dee McCauley put in a very big tipping performance yesterday.
Huge. 6 in a row.
6 in a row, tips the quaddie, starts it off with Royal Toronado.
Wow,
Gets a bit of a, what do you call this, a mulligan for Joker's Grin in race number 5. Let's have a listen to this, Selangor Turf Club.
Third is King's Honour. They're followed after 2 lengths, Halatorian. The favourite a long, long way back coming into the home straight where Hang Glider set sail. It's Hang Glider by 2, Capital Flight, Halatorian, King's Honour, Joker's Grin. He's starting to hit overdrive on the outside, but Hang Glider is the leader with 100 to go. Capital Flight, here comes Joker's Grin. Joker's Grin goes up to Capital Flight, stormed straight past him and returned in a blaze of glory. Joker's Grin only got serious in the last 100 to beat Capital Flight.
Well, it was almost a talking horse of the meeting. And what are your thoughts here, Loch?
Massive. I think he's a star. I've thought that for a long time now, and I think he's returned better than ever. Watching the replay and watching it live, it just looked like he had more gears to give, and I think that's what I love most about this win. It still looked like Pat Carberry didn't get to the bottom of him. He did it easily. He's ran time. Last 600, Joker's Grin, 32.71. That is low flying. So from all reports, he's going to step up to 1,200 metres now in a couple of weeks' time, provided that Pat and Bernie remain happy with him. And that's going to be a nice test for him.
In a ratings race?
In a ratings race. So he's not going to be found in any of the feature races like a Colonel Reeves or Winterbottom Stakes. They're going to take a conservative route with him, and with that in mind, we get to see him at 1,200 metres for the second time since his debut failure, which is very, very exciting, and I think he is one of the best horses we have here in WA, and he's only a 75, 76 rated horse.
Question without notice. We're now in the start of November, so he has plenty of time to get his rating up. Gut feel, would he be a local in the Quokka next year?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If this campaign goes to plan, and as we've heard, the aim at the end of the preparation is a summer scorcher, so that's probably a 4-5 start preparation after the summer scorcher. His rating is mid-90s, closer to 100.
Yep.
That has profile towards a Quokka written all over it.
Yep.
I think he'd be a perfect contender for a Quokka.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a nice line of races sort of around that time as well, even Pinjarra Classic over 1,300. But if he was to step out further before that, if they aimed lower. But my feel on the horse is that this prep is all about getting his rating up, getting him a little bit more experienced, a bit more furnished, because he still does look raw and he's just doing it on ability at the moment. And a little break after the summer or after New Year's, come back, and I think he could be a Quokka horse come April, which is super exciting. Capital Flight finished second, is going super. This horse placed at listed level last start, ran second yesterday, was given every chance and is knocking on the door for a win. Hang Glider put the burners on. I think a lot of people thought King's Honour would be the leader of this race, but ridden for pure speed, I thought Hang Glider was much more effective, finishing third. And the Boss Lady, Joker's Grin, ran home in 32.71. The Boss Lady's probably a 1,400 metre horse and ran home in 32.85. I thought that was a terrific run. She's one of the follows of the meeting. I think she'll be head to the Jungle Mist, Jungle Dawn, potentially Starstruck, that line of Mares Series races. So she would be arguably the top seed for that. So she's a follow out of the meeting.
The fillies and mares races are going to come up stronger than we first thought. The likes of Taropa, Amber Glide, Twain's Angel, all heading in that direction. I think it's going to be a great clash of races that I think are just going to be great races to watch.
And a horse that, if she doesn't qualify for Railway Stakes, we could see Yonga Lass in there. Yonga Lass ended up starting near on favourite in the Asian Beau yesterday. So I'm assuming if she doesn't get into the Group 1s, they'll probably divert and go to the Mares Series. So it could be a really strong series this year.
Okay, what's our race for Capital Flight? Locke, have you done the programming? It's given the winner 4.5, beaten less than a length. Surely there's got to be a win coming up for it.
The race for him is one without Joker's Grin. Just find out where Joker's Grin is going and
I think Capital Flight
path.
Always races over 1,000. And if Joker's Grin's going to 12, then he should be able to dodge him next start and be hard to beat.
Race number 6, the Tab Touch Placid Arc Prelude over the 1,000 metres.
Inside, Maddie Girl fourth, a little over a length to Catch Carter and At Your Service, followed further back by Skullbone and Pig. Wind of the Line still well off those, Golden Kathleen and Arduet, but Repossession races clear at the 250 and Repossession. Parnham down, now reaching for the Persuader, led by 2.5 to Maddie Girl, followed further back by Golden Vale. Repossession's the leader, Maddie Girl the only threat, but there is no threat, it's Repossession. Repossession beat Maddie Girl. Down on the inside, Skullbone and Pig came late with a big runner. Then Wind in the Line.
Okay, tell us about this win. Lock, Repossession for Chris and Michael Gangemi and, of course, Brad Parnham.
Repossession, great to see the Gangemi brothers back in the winner's circle and a great training performance as well. We saw the horse race ungenerously first up over the 1,000-metre journey, so they elected to keep him at the 1,000 once again. And something caught my eye on Wednesday afternoon when I'd printed the racebook, Marty, and it was a key gear change. Repossession, crossover, noseband on. The team must have been listening to Racing Rewind.
Oh, no, we just said that it was a good challenge for the boys, and they've come up to it. It was terrific. I was so rapt to see this, and to just allow him to be a quick horse again out in front, and he's got untapped ability.
Good ride, wasn't it?
He does. I think there was a sliding doors moment in this race, however, because Brad Parnham and Repossession, he doesn't have the best gate speed, but he musters. And for mine, I feel like if Willie Pike had his time again, he crosses straight to the fence. I know Sinful Living has clearly gone unders in the end, but Sinful Living, she's just about undefeated when she finds the fence in comparison to when she settles outside the lead. And when Willie didn't elect to cross, that allowed Brad to ride repossession like a really good horse, and that's exactly what he did. So moving forward, I think the map's going to be key for repossession heading towards a Placid Arc, and just looking at the horses drawn outside of him and whether he can muster towards the front over 1,200 metres or whether he potentially settles in behind them. But no denying the horse's ability, and he's without doubt going to be a single-figure hope in the Placid Arc in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, he's second favourite. He's $4 now, and Wind in the Line is still $3.40 for the Placid Arc. Repossession's $4, and September Born is $5.50, who might be probably going to the Guineas.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you could say it's a good thing that he won't be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did expect Sinful Living to lead yesterday, but breaking down the 3,000 metre races, the first 2 furlongs of the Placid Arc Prelude was actually a lot faster than both the others. So perhaps they were going a bit quicker than what it seemed to the eye, but I still think Sinful Living, her record speaks for herself. She is more effective when she finds the rail, but I was surprised at the fact that they went earlier than what I thought visually, than what they may have. Maddie Girl is going really well, isn't she? She's Simon Miller's and Steve Parnham have a good handle on her, ridden a bit more patiently. But I think Skullbone and Pig's one of the big follows out of the meeting. First up, No Trial. Performed really well at one start during the winter. He's a big lump of a horse, full of leg. He does not look like a 1,000-metre horse to look at visually. He could be a big follow, but I'm not sure where. Perhaps he just goes to a 1,200 of a Placid Arc now.
You're only 3-1s?
Yeah, you're only 3-1s for sure. I think the extra 200 metres would be beneficial for him, but I would expect him to be able to get over even further into his prep. And Wind in the Lion, we heard from Chris Parnham earlier on the program, I think he said it was a good run, solid run, but perhaps a little bit underwhelming. I tend to agree. I thought his last 50 metres was probably the concern. Catch Carter was held up and matched motors with him. If it wasn't for that, I would have thought it was probably a pass mark and a solid run, but just that last 50 I thought wasn't overly strong, and he did get a bit wound up pre-race as well, so perhaps that just took away and he might have run his race before he went out there.
So with Skullbone and Pig, you were saying he may go to a Placid Arc.
I'm not sure. I'd assume that'd be the natural progression.
You sound a bit surprised. Well, why wouldn't he?
Well, no, I didn't mean to sound surprised, but I guess that's where he would go after racing in a race like this, and the extra 200 metres should be to his liking, but I think he'll be even better over further. Is what my point is. If he was in work a month earlier, he'd probably be a Guineas horse.
Yeah, he's a grunt.
That's more so.
Yeah.
That's more so what I meant is that it's probably, if it was 1,000 yesterday, the Guineas is 3 weeks away. He's not going to get there.
No.
So I guess it is the Placid Arc, but I would dare say he'd be a better horse over a bit further, deeper into his career.
The Placid Arc, it looked like it was going to be this big booming race a few weeks ago, and I feel like it's really thinned out. Obviously, the news that West Star is out of the carnival. I expected or hoped that Wind in the Lion would really have that flashing red light run and at least flash into second or third, maybe even win the Placid Arc Prelude. So, yeah, it's perhaps just become a touch more thin than we first thought originally, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
A further length, Boots Like Bruce's. Bravo goes for home at the top of the straight, shoots away from them. Catalpa Saloon Bar well back, Thomas Magnum and Red Can Man. Bravo Centurions in full flight though. They've got 200 to go and he put up 4 lengths quickly on them. Bravo Centurion a day clear from Kripolenko. Saloon Bar, Boots Like Bruce fighting out the minors, but here is another super win and he is a real star on the rise, this fellow. He won it easily. Bravo Centurion.
What a win, Bravo Centurion, stepping up to weight for age for the first time. I know it wasn't a vintage edition of the Prince of Wales Stakes, but not many horses can win like this. The way that Chris Parnham just gave him some rein at the 500 metre mark and just the way he rails like a greyhound. Wow, that was such an exciting win.
100%. It was 33.27 was the last 600 for the leader, and they ran serious time, so he can do it at both ends. I love the fact that he can absorb speed and still be so strong through the line. It's a rare attribute for those 1,000-metre types, and it's going to be interesting, 1,200 metres in a Winterbottom Stakes. I think he'll lead the race if they want him to.
Absolutely, and I think that was key with our interview with Chris Parnham, is that he said that's his asset. So all of a sudden we're starting to get a picture on how the Winterbottom might be run. Bravo leads, Overpass to his outside, and then you have two hulking horses like Almighty Class and Barrackhill in behind the speed. How exciting is that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it can change around if all of a sudden one draws wide and one draws in.
100%.
I'm going back a long time now, probably 10 years, but I think it was the Barrackhill year. Do you remember Travanator, the Pierce horse?
Yeah.
It's a similar progression, how he was just killing them over 1,000 metres, and then he went to the 1,200 of a Winterbottom Stakes. It sort of reminds me of that, the progression. I think he went amiss in the wind in the Winterbottom Stakes, so it was hard to get a guide. But it's just that big unknown, a horse that's so dynamite over the 5 furlongs. Will he be as effective over the 1,200? The answer is usually no, I think, but hopefully...
But we don't know.
We don't know. So hopefully for the Fernie's case, for Chris Parnham's sake, and for the locals, it's a yes. But it would be a big jump. Saloon Bar, I think, is tracking beautifully as well as any local in terms of a Winterbottom Stakes prospect. I think the 1,200 metres is going to be ideal for him. In a month's time, it continues to hit the line well, and hasn't Kripalenko had a breakout campaign?
Yeah,
he was massive overs, I thought, yesterday to get that run, and
was horribly weighted under the scales. But he's going well, and Boots like Bruce, disappointing, I thought, overall. He probably only found the line fairly. I do think he's a better horse, probably ridden more on speed, but he's not going to be able to do that in races with Bravo Centurion, so that's a little bit of a question mark on him now.
Now, Loch, with Bravo Centurion and listening to Chris and listening to everyone else around this horse, he's continuing to improve, right? Even though he's deeper into a preparation. Is that because, do you think they're stepping the work up into him, getting him fitter, or where's this improvement coming from?
I think it's just the horse. The horse and
is
the
just
ability
improving.
he possesses, yes.
Ringcraft, mental.
100%. 100%. I don't think he's the type of horse you'd work overly hard, because he's best fresh. He's best when he's charging through the bridle like we saw yesterday. So this improvement that we're seeing is just off the back of the horse's natural ability, and the team are just handling him very well.
Big one, the Hose Masters Asian Beau Stakes.
Towards the tail end of the field, Diamond Scene as they turn for home. Massimo led, laced up heels, collared it very quickly. Further back behind those then, Aztec Ruler, Super Smink is starting to really charge. She's coming laced up heels. Super Smink is charging down the outside. It's Super Smink storming up. Over on the inside, Love and War, but Super Smink's clear. And Super Smink, she made it look good. She made it look great, in fact. She's won the Asian Beau, Super Smink, back in the winner's circle today. From on the inside, Love and War. Very good first up run. Close up behind those, Diamond Scene from the tail. Aztec Ruler, Triple.
Yeah, so it's Aztec Ruler, Triple Missile and Yonga Lass back in 5th.
Super Smink, great to see her back in the winner's circle. She's now into railway favouritism. So she is your $6 favourite with Tab Touch. Great win yesterday, but let's touch upon the Beaten Brigade heading towards either a railway or a Peters, because as you said, Marty, on Straight Up on Thursday, plenty of these horses aren't in the railway field yet. So the Peters in a couple of weeks' time is going to be a very, very important lead up into the railway.
100%. I think a majority of these horses will be going that way, and they'll all have, one of them will have to win, well, they'll all have to win to be able to get into the race. Love and War was a really nice return there. Had a breakout winter and looks a serious horse. Aztec Ruler was a good run. Triple Missile as well. 1,400 metres I thought was a nice effort. But Yonga Lass is the horse I wanted to touch on. Looked outstanding yesterday. I thought watching the race she was only fair, but going back through her runs, she's just seems a one-trick pony for mine. I think she was perhaps dictated to from barrier 1 yesterday, and I'd love to see her draw out where she can be ridden second half of the field. I think with her turn of foot, she just needs to be ridden cold. Unfortunately, the team probably weren't able to do that yesterday from barrier 1. First up, 1,400 metres. I think she'll be a sharp improver in the Peters, and I'm just hoping she draws out. And if she can be utilised with her strong turn of foot, I think that'll be when she can be most dangerous, especially in this company.
Even a horse like Diamond Scene, he flew home late, but just looked like that sprint had come out of his leg. So whether he's looking for ground of a Lucky Grey Stakes of 1,800 metres or whether they persist with the railway path, I'm not sure, but he is absolutely flying.
Well, Yonga Lass was pretty in the bridle, wasn't it, early?
She was keen.
First up, 1,400. She won over 1,000 first up last prep.
My gut feel is that they might have missed her a little bit first up. I think he'll get to work on her and she'll be very hard to beat in the Peters. Into anything else for the race?
Asian Beau Stakes is predominantly the railway winning producing race, but as we've touched on, a lot of these horses probably won't be getting run, so I'm not sure if we've seen the railway
almost
winner
a
just
disappointing part of the race was those horses underneath that we mentioned on Straight Up.
Super Smink was probably the one horse that was guaranteed.
It could have gone into the Listee. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
My big disappointment was that we didn't get to see Zip Away against Super Smink.
Yeah.
I'm still flat about it.
What's he rated? He's
100.
He's 100, so he'll be in.
Mrs. Max handicap. What a win this.
Those El Santo, Liquida's Gift, and then noteworthy Esprit Garçon to the outside. Catch These Hands, Regal Statue, and Woburn Gold. Homeward bound and Miss Flirtatious, the leader, a length and a half clear. Malcar Pindari about to get off the fence. Woburn Gold's coming right down the outskirts of the track, and so's Madam Kisses. Look at Woburn Gold, though. Woburn Gold descending upon them from Stone Motherless, and a brilliant win. Woburn Gold. That's a fabulous performance to come from last and win from Malcar Pindari.
Fabulous
Madam
tipping
Kisses
performance.
He's always been a Woburn Gold fan, old Cobb. No, we've got to give that to him. He's been with the mare all the way through, hasn't he? And she was outstanding.
Big win, massive win to finish out what was a terrific day of racing at Perth Racing at Ascot. Woburn Gold from last just grew wings late.
Levitated.
33.03, Marty, final 600, over 1,200 metres.
Wow.
I think she's just an underrated mare, and off the back of her win yesterday, she'll start to receive the respect she deserves.
Yeah, 100%. Terrific win. Be following her moving forward. Malcar Pindari is tracking along nicely, and so is Madam Kisses, but it was all about Woburn Gold there.
What about the 1,200 metre race yesterday? And you had Joker's Grin, Repossession, Brava Centurion, Super Mink, and Woburn Gold in it.
Super Mink.
Super Smink. Did you like that?
Yeah, I did.
Who wins?
Joker's Grin.
Moot question.
Yeah, Joker.
The Joker.
The Joker.
On Racing Rewind, it is time for the boys to look back and determine who are the black bookers, the ones to be on next start, the horses to follow.
Fly with Caution, The Boss Lady, Skullbone and Pig.
I've got all of those three written here, and also Woburn Gold. I think if you follow those four horses, you'll be doing well in the next month.
Okay, thanks for coming in, lads. Thanks to Sophie.